What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast slash webcast, because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. I got my brother Corey in the building. Corey, what's going on?
What's going on, Jim? How you feeling?
Oh, man, I can't complain. Ain't nobody listening. Fair and partly cloudy over here. But everything's good, man. Listen, this is episode, I don't even know what, 29, 28, somewhere around there. But the bottom line is we're going to continue to bring you stories of brothers and sisters who work in business, investors, people doing work in the community. Anybody doing anything positive, we just want to highlight them so they can tell their story, because representation does matter. For the people out there who've tuned into what we got going on, I want to say thank you first and foremost before we even start this episode, because people have been sharing our episodes. Our IG page is crazy, so salute to everybody on IG and all the well wishes, man. Because I swear on a daily basis, people there's literally this inbox us to say thanks for what we're doing. It's really appreciated. That's why we do it. So we want to continue to share these stories. So make sure that if you're watching this video on YouTube, that you hit the like button, you share the video. If you listen to any of the podcast platforms, whether it's Apple, Spotify, share it. Give us 5 stars, but help us keep our mission going of spreading this information. You know what I mean? But without further ado, listen, we have a very special guest on. This gentleman right here is a project management consultant. I was just joking with him that he's like a real life Marty Khan, for those that watch that TV show on Showtime. But he's going to tell his story, but he's also as an investor as well. And we're going to let him tell his story because he's doing a lot of positive things, man. This is a brother we want to highlight, man. So we got Michael Kearse in the building. How are you, sir?
Hey, good evening, man. How are you guys?
Oh, man, we can't complain. Listen,
Can't
man.
complain at all. What's going on, Mike?
You out there, working with some of the biggest companies in the world, but you're a brother that looks just like us, man. And I think that it's important that we highlight someone in this field, someone that works in the consultant field, specifically project management, because this is another angle, another avenue where people can, make a living, become investors, and do all kinds of great things. So it's good to see a brother like you in this field. So before we get into that, give us a little bit about your background. Where are you from? Where'd you go to school?
Yeah. So went to school from South Jersey, Collinswood, Camden area. Graduated in about 2000, played a lot of basketball in high school. So jobs for me coming up, single parent home, another brother. Got a lot of blue collar jobs coming up, telemarketing, which kind of exposed me to like sales and marketing. Played ball at Lincoln University, graduated from there in 04.
It's my school as well. I just wanted to put it out there, but I'm a little older than you though. But
okay.
LU though. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, LU all day. Graduated from there in 04. Got an undergrad in psychology. Didn't really know what I wanted to do in school. Liked communication, but I was always intrigued with like human behavior and just observing people and why we do certain things we do. So I got the psych degree. So I had a lot of sales background, and then I had the psychology degree. So I had to kind of like make a decision with my career path. So I decided to do social work, very rewarding role, a lot of autonomy, right, out in the field, doing your own thing, helping people with a caseload. But the pay wasn't always there, right? I was starting to build a family, met my wife, couldn't work 3 jobs at once just to have a nice little income. So I decided to go back to school. Didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something in business. And eventually, that's where I learned about project management. I kind of did a Google search. Good tip for anyone out there watching, right? If you're at a crossroads and thinking about making a career change, just Google the top trending careers or the most demanding professions over the next 10 to 15 years. And that'll kind of give you an idea of what career path you may want to choose. But that's how I found out about project management. And I just kind of fell in love with it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What is it about project management that you fell in love with?
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It kind of pulls on all of my, I think my innate qualities that I have, being a leader, being a team player, someone that is a bit organized and can rally a group of people. And then that it's really big in IT. I'm really interested in information technology and innovation. So that's a big realm. And it's a profession where you can make a lot of money, right? So that's
that's always a plus, right?
Yeah.
That's always a plus. So you ended up getting what, an MBA or a master's, something like that?
Yeah. A master's in business administration is what I got, with a concentration in public administration and project management.
Okay.
Initially, when I was doing like the search, it was back in 2012. So like healthcare was real big. There was a lot of transformation going on with healthcare, with what Obama was trying to do with Obamacare. So they really needed to step up their technology, right? So any time that you need to change thing or implement a new technology, or companies all need to transform and get off of an old system and migrate to a new system, that requires a lot of coordination, right? If you throw a party, you guys even putting together this podcast, you guys have to, organize it and management and kind of plan ahead. That's kind of like what a project manager does.
That's interesting. Let me ask you a question. So coming up, even as you were in undergrad or even before college, were you always an organized person? Is that something that you've always been, or?
I guess so. I probably grew into that just through college and different types of jobs. I would say actually being a case manager probably is where I got a lot of the organization from, because you had to manage a caseload. You had to really keep track of certain things and milestones and really take care of your people. Your paperwork, you had to get a certain amount of paperwork for everybody. So I would say actually I probably became more organized those 4 years when I was
It's interesting how throughout your journey, things that you do all lead up to something, right? So you pick up something from everything along the way, and that's the idea of going out there and doing things, because you might make mistakes, but as long as you learn along the way, that's how you get better at whatever.
That common thread of action back again.
Yeah. Every guest that we have on here, the one common thread is like taking action and doing something, as opposed to just no one's gonna give you nothing, so you got to go out there and take action. But listen, right now, so as a project management consultant, you work with some of the big boys, like I heard about some of the Fortune 500 companies that you're working with. What are some of the issues that, and not to talk about any company specifically, because you can't do that, but what are some of the issues that we would be surprised that these companies deal with in terms of like IT? Because you assume that when you see big companies that they got it all together.
Man, listen, I mean, so my wife was probably in this type of position before me, and she used to kind of tell me the stories, and you would assume these people have these Ivy League degrees and come from these big boy schools, or have, middle class or upper echelon backgrounds, but they're everyday people that make mistakes just like anyone else, right? Half of them don't even want to be there. They don't take it seriously. It's just a paycheck for them. But to answer your question, I would say just everyday things, right? Just being unorganized. We see that a lot with some of our clients. Not really engaged sometimes is one of the hard things. A lack of communication, right? And you'll have a couple of people.
When you say lack of communication, is it lack of communication between systems or between people?
I'm talking about people. It's not even systems. Putting the technology and the systems aside, a lot of the issues are just people, right? Because that's really what who you're working with. It's really about working with people and how well you can get everyone to either buy in or to agree with a certain direction. So I would say that's probably the number one dysfunction you see in a lot of clients. And I don't care if it's me being a project management consultant or me being a digital marketing consultant, or just being a mentor to individuals, right? It's people being engaged, people really caring or being passionate about what they're doing, right? And then to add on to that, right? It's then usually the technology, right? Which is why they're really bringing you in, right? They want to get from A to B and they just don't know how to do it, or they have an idea, or they heard about it, or they heard one of their competitors doing it, so they want to do it, but they don't really understand the foundation that they need to have in place to get there, right?
Okay, and you mentioned the part about digital marketing and how you consult with that as well. How'd you get into that specifically with the digital marketing piece?
Yeah, great question. So having a sales background, I worked in a couple of roles where they were really training you to be an entrepreneur, create your own like marketing firm. So I always had that entrepreneur spirit. Personal development, watching different YouTube videos, and then you would see ads. So I ran across a guy named Ty Lopez. Was following him for
man, you talking about the library. You probably saw the same ad, because that ad, I was like, I always say, how did this boy get this ad on every video? Where he's in where he's in the garage with all the books.
In my garage, right? That's the one. I was up 2 a.m. watching that. watched it, was hooked. Took one of his courses, 67 Steps, I think it was called, changed my life. Just read a lot of different books, and then he did a JV with a guy named Sam Ovens, 26-year-old kid from UK, and he talked about being a consultant, right? And I always had that consulting background. And so when I took that course, and what I really realized what he was doing was it was really digital marketing and helping these small to medium-sized business owners who don't understand social media, who don't understand podcasts, who don't understand the internet, right? These baby boomers who don't know the new way that they can acquire a lead is through the internet, through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through Google AdWords. So I learned that, and that really opened the door for me for a lot of things, man, a lot of different opportunities. So I was doing that for about, I would say, the last 3 years before recently I just pivoted towards real estate investing and wholesale. And those digital marketing skills that I acquired really lend themselves well to any type of online work from home type of opportunities, right? Because you gotta know how to take someone who has never heard of you and turn them into a paying client or someone that wants to do business with you regarding the product or service that you have.
Yeah, I'm always amazed in 2019 how many people don't understand the power of the internet, right? So for me, I won't even do business with someone if I can't Google, specifically like any sort of like store or anything. If I can't Google and you don't have a website or a web presence, I'm probably not even gonna do business with you. But I'm amazed all the time that how many people don't have an online presence, and it's shocking that in 2019 that still exists. So there's always going to be clients for you still out there in that respect. So with that being said, though, this is a good question. I like people who are in digital marketing. I like to ask them, what do they see as the future, right? And it could be a platform specific, or it could be something that you just see coming down the line. Like, we see that this move of getting rid of likes is coming up. So what do you see as in the immediate future or even long term with digital marketing?
Yeah, I think you'll see a big boom in people creating their own courses, and what I mean by that is teaching their own expertise or their own knowledge. The education industry, or creating your own course. I think we'll continue to see a huge push in that. Live broadcasting is going to be huge, and you're already starting to see a lot of that, where people are starting to do things in real time, right? And a lot of that is coming from that Ty Lopez, what he was doing 3 or 4 years ago. I think he made such a big splash, and the way that the big Facebook, Google, and that these brands and these platforms are allowing you to broadcast live. I think we'll continue to see a big push in that. And some of the more trendy types of businesses that I'm seeing right now is like what's the thing? Airbnb, not Airbnb. Yeah, Airbnb. A lot of people are moving to that route because they're starting to realize the power in that. So those are some of the trends I see from a digital marketing perspective.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Live video is very powerful. That's one of the things that I haven't really taken advantage of that per se. I do like a live podcast on Thursdays, a sports podcast, but I've never done like a live video, and I know that it actually helps the algorithms, right?
And that's what I was going to say. So the way that these brands, specifically Facebook and Google, because they are the biggest platforms from a digital marketing perspective, they dictate what types of ways you use their platforms is going to help you gain more business. So they put, like you said, they put more emphasis in their algorithm on live broadcasts, right? On certain keywords and how much they charge you for different things. I mean, and it changes like every day, right? If you're not really in tune with that industry or really paying attention to their conferences and their marketing conferences, because every year they'll tell you what's coming out, what's changing, how they're changing their platform. And you can just see, what they're really pushing.
Yeah, so I'm online every day, and I'm constantly testing things to try to figure out what works. I figured out a couple Instagram hacks myself. But I got a question for you. Since we're on this topic, what are your thoughts on TikTok?
So TikTok, I look at it as the Instagram for the younger generation. And when I say younger generation, like my daughter's 8, my son is 10, and my daughter spends a lot of time just watching TikTok. And I would say it's equivalent to my wife just sitting on Instagram, right? So I look at TikTok as the Instagram for I don't even know what that generation is called. I think they call it.
Yeah, right.
Past the millennials, the one after the millennials, huh?
Yeah, because I'm fascinated with the way that they name the generations, but I think they're like Generation Y or Z or something like that, Gen Z or Gen Y. But that generation, yeah, TikTok, Roblox, Fortnite, those
That,
companies,
that's what I call them. I call them the Fortnite generation.
yeah, they do a great job of really capitalizing on um, augmented and virtual reality, right? Really, those I think it started from watching from my kids. It started with kids YouTube, right, and then
Hmm.
seeing those specific commercials on kids YouTube, then slowly migrating to YouTube, and then them really placing because of the algorithms, because of the data, because of digital marketing, they could see what kids are responding to and test different products, and that's exactly how stuff like TikTok has taken off.
Do you
Um,
think that it will ever age up though? I'm interested to see whether it will ever age up because I talked to like other marketers and a lot of them were telling me like, so I start testing things on it just to see because other marketers that I've talked to say,
mhm,
listen, get on there and play with it now and figure it out because it's going to age up. And
mhm.
it's hard to see that now
But, I mean,
because
all of them aged up though. Like
Yeah. I was just about to
every
say that. If you
every
think about
every every digital platform ages up.
that. Yep.
they do, but I mean, they do, but they don't. All right. So, I mean, to me, they all have their own place, right?
Hmm.
So, like, my mother and her generation hang on Facebook all day, right?
Yep. Facebook
Right.
is
So,
they're the biggest users now.
yeah. So people in my generation hang on IG all day, right?
Yep. We're on IG.
Twitter
Exactly.
is like the block where I get news and conversations and the funny thing is, like, so Snapchat started with kids, it aged up a little bit, and then got
Yep.
taken over by young ladies who have OnlyFans pages.
Yep.
So, or Snapchat premiums. No disrespect to y'all, but that's what happened to Snapchat, right? So now I'm looking at TikTok and I'm playing around trying to see like where's this going to go. But it's
Hmm.
difficult to see this aging up when you see all the platforms, even if they started young, I've never seen them like this young, right?
Yeah. Right.
Corey, I don't
Right.
know if you ever spent any time on that platform, but like, dude, it's like
I
every
got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. They on
okay,
it all
okay.
day.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but the content, like, even when Snapchat was younger, or even IG was like a little bit younger, there was always content for someone older. Like TikTok, not so much. It's just to
But
me.
I think what'll happen though, I think it'll grow with them. Like that'll be like
Okay, I see
I
that.
think that'll be their platform, right? So when they're 16, I think the content would evolve because they're all evolving. I would say like when Twitter first came out, I can remember when Twitter first came out, my friend had met a girl from California and they actually introduced it to us. They were like, the West Coast was heavy on it because
Yeah,
they were real bloggers.
yeah,
Then I remember I got off it for about a year, and then when I got back, and all of Philly was on it, and then
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
started to know each other because of
Dude.
Twitter, and then it slowly migrated to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's how it happens. I think it catches that diaspora or that core age group that they're really really targeting, and it'll probably just grow with them.
And
Whether or not
I'm interested to see
whether
that
or
though.
not we will transform to it, I don't know.
Because
But
even LinkedIn is like changed recently, in my opinion. From all right, so because I'm in business and real estate and in this podcast, everything, I'm always just like I said, testing things and looking at things. To me,
mhm,
LinkedIn has changed recently. So
mhm,
LinkedIn used to be just like where your resume was, but
mhm.
it's so much content being shared there now that even that's changed.
Yeah, so with LinkedIn, that's where I spent a lot of my time when I was doing the digital marketing because I was focused on small software and IT businesses. So I was dominating LinkedIn. I want to say like 16 and 17. I mean,
Okay.
any IT business kind of knew me, right? And so what we did is because we had certain tools and we understood the power of LinkedIn, we told them, listen, don't use LinkedIn as your resume. Use
Hmm.
LinkedIn as your personal branding or your personal billboard. So you've seen that kind of change. You've seen a lot more professional services leveraging LinkedIn the way that the recruiters do, right?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you also seen a lot of mentors and coaches educating professionals saying, hey, you need to own your brand, right? You need to stand out from the competition and you need to market yourself, right? So you've seen that. Then what happened was Bill Gates bought LinkedIn maybe last year or 2 years ago. And
Microsoft purchasing. I remember that.
Right. So their focus was to really make LinkedIn, like Facebook, more content driven. And they changed their algorithm. If you posted a link in your feed and it took someone off of LinkedIn, LinkedIn would block you, right? They would
Oh, wow.
You could see that. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't know that.
I didn't know that till just now. I was today years old when I found that out.
Right. They want people to stay on their platform. So they introduced the LinkedIn Learning, right? They now let you upload your videos a certain way. So again, right, they want you to behave a certain way. So they're going to hack the algorithm so you can behave in a certain manner from a marketing perspective once you start to understand it. And again, just like any platform, right, they have their conferences where they're talking to all of the digital marketers at that time and really telling them what their direction is, how you should interact with the platform, and how you can get an edge over the other marketers.
You know,
all these platforms are marketing driven.
Yeah, but you know what? You just shared a gem that, like, I don't know if Corey, you picked up on this, but what you said was that throughout this conversation that all of these companies have algorithms, and you said that they actually have conferences where they tell you how to behave on their platform. They tell you what kind of content they want. Because I realized recently, like, well, not recently, a little while ago, that anytime I put an IGTV video up, they would like kind of market it for me.
Exactly.
All right. So that's a little hack out there for those people watching. Like putting a 30-second video versus like a video that's over a minute on IGTV, Instagram literally markets that for you.
Exactly.
Because obviously, to me, that means that's the kind of content they want.
Exactly. And because these platforms have so much data, I mean, the amount of data that they have across different data points, right? Even outside of, because IG is Facebook, they can tell and they see and they understand what people respond to. So they're driven by the attention that they get from the consumer, right? So the more that a consumer is going to interact with their platform, the more value they have for their stakeholders. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
So us as the advertiser who are spending those advertising dollars, right? If we pay to have something that a lot more people are going to see, right? They're going to put that in front of more people, right? And so that's how the Facebook algorithm works when you're talking about advertising dollars. If you put something out there and it doesn't do well, they're not going to show it, right? And your data is going to reflect that. And the user experience is not going to be enjoyable, right? They're all about the user experience because the users is what's really driving you to spend your advertising dollars. If they have the most users, that's where you want to be, so you can get your product, your service, or your brand in front of the most people as possible. Yeah. So these Facebook and Googles, they are advertising machines. They do a great job of creating a product that people are going to continue to come to, so they can charge you top dollar to get in front of those people.
Yeah, and they are great at what they do, specifically like Facebook with the data, right? So I always share this story because to me it was one of the more interesting things. So I've been in real estate a long time, since I was a teenager. And when I first got in the game, I'm so old and washcore that there wasn't even like MLS online, right?
Big gigantic book.
Yeah, ginormous books, right? So and we used to run ads in the newspaper. Now, I'm not that ancient, people, for those watching. I'm talking about like the early 2000s, late 90s. That's how crazy, like how fast time flies with technology. Right now, I could just pick up the phone and everything's right in my phone. But literally in the early 2000s, it wasn't like that. So we would run ads in the newspaper. And it got to a point with Facebook where Facebook is so much more effective than anything I ever ran in a newspaper because the targeting is crazy. The targeting is crazy. I share this with people all the time, just so the people out there, because a lot of times we have real estate agents and real estate investors who watch our show. I have literally sold $500,000 home with a Facebook ad where the people didn't even see the property physically. You know what I'm saying? Ran a virtual tour, created a Facebook ad, and they put a contract in, literally, because I was able to target so well with the data that they have. So after that one deal, I've bought in, like, to the point where I don't even mind paying sometimes when I have a property for rent or for sale. I'll pay for the ad because it's one of the more effective tools in my arsenal at this point.
And the cost of getting that ad in front of 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 people
Absolutely.
is peanuts compared to how you used to have to do it. So you're absolutely right. And the powerful things that you can do. I mean, one of the hacks that a lot of people don't realize or don't do, and I can remember telling some of my clients this, if you have, let's say you have a list of cash buyers, or you have a list of realtors, right? Or you have a list of people who bought homes in a specific zip code. If you had their list of emails, you can upload their emails into Facebook, and Facebook will only show those ads to those individuals.
That's
And
fine.
you can literally just pay 25 cents to get a home in front of a specific amount of people. It's just insane what you can do with Facebook. And a lot of people just don't know, right? Because they're not marketers and they don't take the time.
Mm-hmm.
But these platforms are incredible.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh man, so you're giving us a lot of information, a lot of gems in terms of marketing and things of that nature. So now you're talking about we're not going to keep you in forever, but you're talking about your getting into the investment space as well. So
Mm-hmm.
what prompted you to like make that shift just to going from consultant to now you want to get into the real estate game?
Yeah. So real estate was always something that I wanted to do, right? It's just, I think everyone who kind of understands what real estate can do for you finds it attractive. Probably really reading Rich Dad Poor Dad years ago, it was always a play of mine, something that I wanted to do. And
the 28th person on show 28 that mentions Rich Dad Poor Dad.
yeah.
Yo, Kiyosaki literally changed the world, yo.
Yeah, I could say that, and the other one,
Cash Flow Quadrant.
and Think and Grow Rich. I would say those
Okay.
two books.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, if you talk to anybody that's in the entrepreneur, probably read those two books. But yeah, so it was always the play, even to the point where when I was making money with digital marketing, I took a Robert Kiyosaki course, right? And but it was more of the traditional, either buy and hold or buy and flip, and how to look at a market and understand vacancy rates and understand where to buy. And it was kind of the slow way I go about it. Didn't really know about wholesaling. Wish I would have known about that 3 or 4 years ago. But again, just different things coming on YouTube, because I'm a big like YouTube University guy, right? While I'm working, I'll have like some motivational video on, or I'll watch like Grant Cardone or someone else talking in the background.
Here. That's my daily life.
Right. And there's always those ads popping up. So, hearing about wholesaling one day, and I'm like, wow, how can you, acquire property without actually like buying it? That's insane. And then my brother, he took a course. He was like, Mike, Philly is popping. He's in New York. It's like, man, what you can do with digital marketing, I need you to help me. I need you to get down with this real estate. So at the time, I couldn't do it because I was doing a lot with project management and digital marketing at the time. Recently, things changed. I kind of, put the digital marketing on the consulting on the back burner. And since I'm now remote from a project management standpoint, I was in the process of actually creating an online course teaching people how to get their certification in project management. Real slow grind, right? But something I was like, this is something I can do. And then Dan Miller, Fortune Builders, just did a conference over here maybe 4 months ago. And I was like, let me go check it out, because I'm always looking to network with other people in the space. And when they talked about wholesale, I was like, oh man, I forgot about this. So I would say, yep, now's the time. Maybe like 4 months ago, I started to go hard, read 3 or 4 books, watched some people on YouTube, and then I was able to close my first deal on Halloween. So that was exciting.
Oh man, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person that, like, once I'm got my mind set on something, like I'm like zoned in, like obsessive. So I just been going hard these last couple of days. So pretty excited what's going to happen.
That first wholesale check, I remember I got my first wholesale check, man. It was a shock to me, because before I did my first wholesale deal, I was already in the real estate game like 10 years as an agent.
You're right.
And then I had another agent tell me, like, this is what you need to be doing, right? So, so I understand that feeling right there. And that's amazing, man. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
And like you said, the funny thing is, just from this conversation with you, that skill set that we talked about how one skill led to another skill, led to another skill,
Exactly.
leads you all up to this point. And something
Exactly.
else I picked up from this conversation, which I find amazing too, is you don't mind investing in yourself. You
Oh
talked
no.
about so many self-help and also so many
All
courses
the
that teach
courses.
courses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
Oh
like
yeah.
6 courses. I was
Yeah,
like,
I,
but
I,
damn, my man, he go
that's outside.
everywhere.
That's
oh yeah.
outside of having an MBA. So you're
Oh yeah.
investing in yourself. So
Oh
I
yeah.
picked that up in this conversation. And that's
My
dope.
man on like 8 courses
Oh yeah.
plus an MBA and a
Yeah.
4-year degree.
Oh yeah. I just bought another course, and my wife she thinks that I just like giving my money away, but she doesn't understand. Just me reading so many different books, watching so many people in places where I want to be. Right. I realized maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Right. If I want to be successful, I need to keep putting successful information in my mind. Right. That's what I realized. Right. If I keep watching TV and watching different TV shows and sitcoms and The Simpsons and things that's not going to yield me the things that I want, I just need to turn my focus on the things that's going to help me get to where I want to be. And that's when I realized, like, oh, this is what you got to do, right? You gotta work on yourself. You got to constantly be reading certain things and understanding and watching people that have what you want and that are telling you how to be successful. And a lot of people think it's like woo woo, or they don't want to put forth the effort, or they don't really understand the investment, right? They're like, when I tell people like, oh yeah, I spend $99 a month on this software, they're like, oh, I'm doing that. Or they be like, you spent $1,000 for that? I'm like, yeah, but I made like $20,000 in like 3 months, right? That correlation isn't natural for someone to understand. But if you want it bad enough, and if you're getting around the right people, or if you're receiving and constantly getting that right information, you'll start to hear the consistencies, and you'll start hearing similar things. And that's what I realized, right? You need to work on yourself. And if you want to be a millionaire, you have to become who a millionaire is. And that's when I realized, like, yeah, I got to get this information. And
That's bars right there.
I need to get that. Yeah. So I'm not, and man, I watch these types of podcasts with other like real estate investors and other people who I aspire to be. And they say the same thing. I've been in masterminds where they be like, man, I spent $100,000 on a mastermind. It's like, reading a book is cool, but you can get ahead so much faster if you can get around those people and get that information. Because I'm telling you, it's people in our backyard right now who is probably 10 to 15 people who are crushing it. They're meeting once a month. They're sharing ideas. They're sharing what they're learning out there doing it. And I'm gonna learn some little hack, and you'll learn some little hack, and he's gonna learn some different hack. And then when the mastermind comes in and we share those hacks, it just speeds everything up exponentially. So that's when I realized, like, yeah, if it's a course that I believe and I know that has some information that's going to teach me something that I need to be taught, especially after experiencing different courses, now it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. Oh,
Yeah.
that's only $4.99. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Grant Cardone, yeah, that sales training, I'm gonna get that. Yeah, so
Okay, yes, that's a gem right there, man. That's a
Oh,
bar right
that
there, Corey.
he go hard. He
I mean,
go hard to pay.
that's investing. That's what someone said. The big, Warren Buffett said it. The
Yeah,
biggest investment you can
in
make.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly, in yourself, because
Yep.
it's going to yield the return so much faster, right? I can't go out and take 5,000 from my 401k and try to buy a rental property, buy something from the auction and try to flip it. I don't know anything about that. But I can take $500 and go buy a course that's going to teach me how to do that. Then I go take my 5,000 to do that, right? And that's where a lot of people fall short. They're scared to invest in themselves, but they'll go take a trip to Jamaica, or go spend some money on some sneakers that's not going to yield anything.
Absolutely, man. Listen, that's amazing, man. You're giving us a lot of gems
Yeah.
in this episode, man. So let me ask you this question before we get you out of here. What's your future look like? What are you working on in the future? Are you gonna be more wholesaling? Are you trying to go into real estate full time, or like what do you see yourself?
Yeah,
The old interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. Man, I got big dreams, man. So I plan to be doing wholesaling, full time next year. There's guys crushing it, man. And I was telling a couple of my friends that wholesale that there are guys that turn this into a $2 to $3 to $10 million business. So in 5 and 10 years, I hope to have wholesaling as a machine running on its own, 20 to 30 people, me taking that cash flow, right, from that, being able to live the lifestyle that I want to live, and then dumping it into like multi-families, like apartment buildings, right, to eventually, yield a return that'll have me, technically financially free or financially independent, and then ultimately kind of have something, a form like this where I'm giving back to people that look like us and educating them on the power that they have and how to be successful if they want to be successful, right? Because I failed, I struggled a lot, and I still do, but I think over these past couple of years I've really started to understand some of the ingredients and some of the things that are consistent that I hear from every successful person that you have to do. And if you just follow those steps, it's not going to be easy, but if you just follow and do these certain things, you're more than likely to achieve what you want to achieve. So that's ultimately where I see myself in 5 years.
That's dope. And that's absolutely true, man. I tell people all the time that success leaves clues. A lot of times people try to reinvent the wheel, but success leaves clues. You know what I mean?
So I just heard yesterday from Dan Graziazzo, I was listening to him. He said, because he was in the mastermind, right? And he said one of the things he took away from it is don't ask yourself, how can I do something? Ask who, right? Ask yourself, like, who is doing that? And then find that person. And whether it be you hire them or whether it be, you work with them or you ask them to teach you and show you, I think that's how you get breakthroughs. I thought that was a big gem that I heard this week.
Man, that's powerful. That's some powerful stuff right there, man. So listen, before we get out of here, Corey, anything you want to say?
Yeah, you put 1,000 gems out there. You drop them, people. All I gotta do is pick them up. I appreciate you. From your perspective, being in project management and being in the digital market space, giving people a different perspective from somebody who's doing it. So, like you said, success leaves clues. And so, through this podcast, they may be able to contact you and move their business forward. So I appreciate you bringing, that perspective onto our platform. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys doing this, man. I think this is awesome. Corey, when you would tell me about it, I was like, hey, that's incredible, man. Because I aspire to have a platform like this as well. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And listen, I just want to wish you continued success. Congratulations on crushing that first wholesale. I'm pretty sure, you've already displayed how you put your mind to something and you go at it. So I know you're going to continue to crush that. And also success in your marketing and project management, man, because it's important to show that we have people in all those spaces, all three of those spaces. You know what I mean? So continued success, man. I just want to say thank you. But for all listeners out there, again, make sure you can continue to share this information. Give us feedback. Let us know if there's anybody specific that you want us to talk to. I'm going to put all Mike's information within the the box so you can get all his social media links and contact him directly if you need be. And maybe you want to pick his brain or ask him what's the new hottest course out there, because he probably already got it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm about to step I buy courses too, but I'm about to step my course game up.
Right. He making me feel a little short. I feel short. Like I take courses all the time too. But my man, he on it. He about
right now I'm taking the Hood Estates trucking course about the trucking company, but that's either here nor there, man. So, but anyway, man, listen, for the people out there, as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, man, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.